Hi, everybody, and welcome to class. It's Mark, and I'll be working with you over this next 8 weeks in the very short spring semester. This video is intended for the students who are taking the capstone course in general studies and the capstone course in liberal arts. Now, the two courses are not identical, but they're close enough in appearance, at least early on in the semester, that I'm recording one video, but for two different classes. The purpose of this video is to eliminate you having to read a lot of stuff in the announcements. I thought it would be easier to walk you through where things are located in the course to make your orientation easier. Now, I know everybody that's taking this course is just about to finish their term at Ivy Tech, or you're getting very close to that point. So I'm assuming you're all seasoned students, but still, we'll take a look at a couple things, poke around in the class. I'll show you where some things are, and hopefully get you off to a quick start. Now, because you're all experienced students, I shouldn't have to say this, but I'll go ahead and remind you, because this is only an 8-week course, it moves really quick. In a 16-week course, if you get a week behind here or there, you can usually catch up, but that doesn't apply in an 8-week course, so do your best to stay current. I'm going to start off by going into the general studies course, although if you're in the liberal arts class, this part will look exactly the same. This part's not different. There are 16 sessions, but of course, since this is an 8-week course, we have to knock out 2 every week. And I will remind you that our courses always start on Monday and they finish on the following Sunday. Now, the semester this time starts on Martin Luther King Day, so we actually get Monday off, and the class officially starts on Tuesday. But after that point, you always have from Monday to Sunday, and the deadline for Sunday night is 11:59 p.m. to turn your work in. So let's take a look at two important things right off the bat, and it's here under course information. It's also in the first session folder, but I'm going to go in this direction. And we'll take a look at the syllabus. Oh, before we get to that, here's a little bit about me. Notice I'm also an Ivy Tech graduate. Hooray. Yep, I graduated from where you're going to school right now. But more importantly than that, I want to point out to you my phone number. Now, my preferred method for staying in touch with you is by text message. Here's my number. I guess you could call me if you wanted to. But more importantly, when you do text me, because I'm teaching more than one class this semester, it's very important before you ask your question or make your comment that you tell me your name and tell me which course you're taking. Especially with having the general studies capstone and the liberal arts capstone at the same time, I might get confused and give you the wrong answer. So always lead off with that, even if we've texted back and forth before. If you want to send me an email, here's my address, nice and simple. So we're going to look at the general studies capstone. The liberal arts capstone syllabus is remarkably similar. I know because I filled them out. And while this is opening, I recommend that you print this off. Yeah, you can read it on the screen, but if you print it off, well, you can make notes in the margins, you can highlight things, do whatever you think you need to do. Again, print this off. Hang on to it. Put it somewhere important. Regardless of whether you're taking the general studies or the liberal arts capstone, there are two big projects that we'll be doing in this 8-week session. Your capstone project, which is a document, and also taking the CAP exam. And we're going to get very well acquainted with the CAP exam right off the bat. In this course, you can use MLA or APA. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're most comfortable with, whatever you think you know the best, that's the format you should use. I'll read either one. Doesn't matter to me. The attendance drop deadline, I hope no one at this late date has to drop out of this course for any reason. I really want to see you finish. But if you need to, because life happens, things come up, whatever, that's the last date that you can withdraw and still get a refund. Proctored exam means you must go to a campus location. You cannot take it anywhere else to take the exam, and it will be supervised, meaning someone isn't going to be standing over your shoulder, but someone will monitor you while you're taking the exam because there's a time limit. Last day to withdraw out of the course, if you have to, again, I hope this never happens, is February 25th. But that's not going to happen to us, is it? Here's another note on text messages and email. Please Do not use course messages. I don't typically look at those, and if you send me one, I'll probably never see it, and you'll wonder why I never answered you. So we're just going to eliminate course messages. I thought I disabled it in the class, but if it's still there and it's still live, don't use it. Here's the work that we'll be doing, and again, this is the same for both classes. 8 discussion boards, so 1 every week. Some minor assignments, but notice most of it is the points are associated with your portfolio, and this applies for both classes and then for the CAP exam. And because so much weight is given to the final portfolio and to the CAP exam, don't take the discussion boards and the other assignments too lightly. There's some easy points out there. If you simply stick to the deadline and get the work done, you'll do great. I want to see everybody do very well in this class. And I'm not going to go over all of this because I'm trying to keep these videos short and to the point, but again, read through this document. It's important. Here is the course calendar, and this one is, again, remarkably the same whether you're in general studies or liberal arts. There's one on the screen as well, but I think you'll want this one at the same time. Again, print it out, hang on to it. You're going to need to refer back to it. And what I want to point out to you, in addition to reinforcing how important it is that you print this out, is that we go through 2 sessions every week. Session 1 and Session 2 due January 22nd. Session 3 and Session 4 due January 29th, and so on and so on. Now, if you're in the liberal arts class, make sure that you look carefully at that one. It's slightly different than the one in the general studies, but close enough. So let's go into our first 2 sessions. And I don't think you want me to go through everything in each folder because that would take a long time, but I'm simply going to point out where some of the more important things are. Course orientation, well, that's what we're doing right now. Learning activities, the syllabus, gee, I think we just talked about that. The course calendar, ditto, we did that too. Capstone portfolio resources and the CAP exam resources. Those are very important. I'll show you where those are here in just a minute. And your one assignment for the first half of week 1 is the discussion board, self-introduction to peers. Now notice it says session 1 and session 2. That means you have to do both of them by the end of the first week. Course syllabus, again, but take careful look at this. Now don't be anxious about the CAP exam. It's not that hateful. And you're very well prepared to get through this. Where did the resources go? That's the portfolio resources. Here are the exam resources. There's a number of documents here, and I want to make sure that you print all of them out and go through them. Some of them are kind of long, I'll give you that much. But the most important part of this is that you must take the CAP exam. You can't pass the class without passing or taking the CAP exam. Now, there might be a lucky few of you who have taken it before, and if it's within the last 2 years, text me. We'll talk it over, and you might not need to retake it. I don't think that's going to come up too much, but if you happen to be one of those lucky few, message me right away. Scheduling the CAP exam. This one's important. You want to schedule as early as you possibly can, and this will tell you how to do it. Again, print this document. There's the site. Follow these instructions. Schedule it for when you're most able to give it your full time and attention and get it done. Schedule this as early as you can. There are 2 other documents here, and these are pretty long, so I'm not going to open them up. Now you see where they are. The student guide, some tips on test preparation, what to bring, what kind of things you're going to be asked to do in the CAP exam. It's all there. And you don't need that last one. Forget you saw that. Let's go back a page. Let's take a look at the portfolio. And again, this is going to be slightly different for general studies and liberal arts, but both classes do have to complete a portfolio. The instructions are here. Here's the rubric. The instructions are kind of long. Just make sure you have time to go through these carefully. But in both of the classes, they've done you a favor by enclosing a sample capstone portfolio. And I'll just go ahead and open this up quickly. We won't go through the whole thing, but we'll take a quick look. Nancy Drew, very original. And notice this student, if it is a real student, it probably is, has 3 different reflections: ethical and responsible behavior, political, social, and environmental responsibility, and diversity awareness. And each of these is a little separate essay. They wrote an overall reflection talking about how they chose these articles for the portfolio, and then it goes into a little mini essay on each subject and includes, if my page will move, includes references for each one. Not a ton of references, but you do need them for each of these. And the instructions will tell you specifically, whether you're in general studies or liberal arts, how many resources you need to have for each one. And the instructions also give you some additional details, which I won't go into here, about can you use an essay you've turned in for another class before? Well, the answer is yes, but there are some additional guidelines on how to do that. I'll point out also the Capstone portfolio blog. This is something that's just for you. It's not graded. I'm the only other person in the class that can see it. If you want to use this, great. You can put articles there that you want to save for later. You can jot down your thoughts, maybe write an outline. If you choose not to use this at all and you want to do everything on paper or handwrite it, that's fine by me. You don't have to use this. It's available to you if you'd like it. And I won't go through all of this as well. Again, I'm trying to keep this direct and to the point. Fairly important information. Make sure you read through that. Let's go back a page. It's not what I was looking for. Let's go back one more page. If Blackboard wants to cooperate. Statement of acknowledgement. I don't think I'm going to open this one up, but as you can see in the instructions, short statement indicating you've reviewed the main components of the course. Whether you're taking general studies or liberal arts, this part is exactly the same. If you have any questions, you could ask them here. If you have no questions, you can say that as well. And then we're also going to start off the first discussion board. It's here. You're all experienced students. You know how to do these. And you can also access it here. And one last thing in this first section, take the student survey. It's short. It's very short, but go ahead and fill that out. Now let's go into session 2. And again, the first and second sessions of general studies and liberal arts are the same, so I can cover this content for both. This one's on the CAP exam. I think they want you to know it's important. They keep bringing it up. In the second half of the week, you're expected to go ahead and schedule your exam and then finish off the discussion board, self-introduction to peers and instructor. I really don't have any firm guidelines for the introductions. You can say whatever you'd like. Tell us what you've studied, what's been your favorite class, what you intend to do. Are you transferring to a 4-year institution? Are you going straight into the workforce? Whatever you want to say, it's just a chance for me to understand you a little bit better and introduce yourselves to the other people in the class you may not have worked with before. Again, the CAP exam resources, I believe these are exactly the same. And then a very important document about scheduling your CAP exam. Do it early. Get it out of the way. Oh, and you do have to send me a summary about your scheduling. Where you're going to take it, the dates, the intended date and time for taking the CAP, and anything else you think I should know about taking this. And that sums it up for week 1, 2 sessions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the liberal arts course as well. And I'll go ahead and point out while this is opening up, in the discussion boards, aside from the introductions, I don't generally participate. That doesn't mean I'm not reading them. I'm not actively reading them. I am, but you won't see me chiming in a lot because I want that to be student-to-student interaction. Of course, you can check your grades anytime on the Grades tab on the left-hand side. And you'll notice as the course continues, I tend to grade things pretty quickly because I want to give you as much feedback as possible so you know how you're doing in the class. There are no surprises. And as I pointed out, I don't know that I had to prove this to you, but here's the liberal arts class. It's exactly the same for the first couple of sessions. The only real difference between the two, as I've said before, a little bit difference in the portfolio, but that's not here in the first week. So again, make sure you go through each of these carefully, read all the documents you can. You've worked very hard and for a long period of time to get to this point. The end is very close. Let's finish as strong as we can. I'm looking forward to working with everybody. Again, the best way to stay in touch with me is by text, 812-498-4200. Go ahead and stick it in your phone right now and shoot me a message anytime you have a question or a concern, or you just simply want to say hi. The only thing I ask is you tell me who you are and tell me which class you're taking so I don't confuse the two. That appears to be it for this first week. I'm not going to do a video every single week of class. I wanted to do this one for sure, and I'll probably pop back in with one or two more before the class is finished. That's it. Let's make it a great semester, everybody. Bye-bye.